Are you in or out on the Steelers being the best team in the league? So, Riv, tell me first, are you in or are you out?
I'm out, only because I think the Chiefs are the best team in the league. But it's not a bad thing. I think the Steelers are definitely top 3. I think they're behind Tampa right now, especially now that they're about to get AB walking in. So I think I have the Chiefs, Tampa, and then the Steelers. I do think the Steelers are very formidable, though, and they can put up a matchup against the Chiefs, but I have the Chiefs as the best team in the league.
How about you, Jack?
You actually stole what I was going to say, and I was going to say it might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion at this point in time because the Chiefs have looked human this year, but we saw what they can do last year, and they only added to that offense this season. And, if you're asking me what I think based on what I've seen this season, the Steelers have been the most impressive team in the league to me. Maybe you could say the Bucs, you could make an argument, but they had a slow start. The Steelers have been really great all year long. Even after losing Devin Bush, I said that was a concern for me when he went down. They didn't miss a beat against a really good Titans team. So they have impressed me more than anybody in the league. I think they've been the surprise of the NFL so far, but I can't bet against the Chiefs, especially come playoff time. They have Patrick Mahomes, who I think is the best quarterback in football, even as well as Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers or anybody else has played. Patrick Mahomes is still that dude. That offense only got better from last year, and you saw what they did in the playoffs. Although at times they might not look like the best, when they turn it on, there's nobody in the league that can stop them.
The Steelers aren't the best team. The Chiefs aren't either. But the Steelers aren't either.
I know who you're going to say.
I'm out on the Steelers being the best team in the league. Yeah, I'm going to save it for the power rankings. Who's going to be on the
I already know who he's going to say.
But I think the most successful team right now in the regular season is the Steelers.
Absolutely.
Well, you can say that because they're the only undefeated team left. They're 6th in defense, 6th in offense in terms of scoring. They're 1st in yards allowed, 3rd against the pass, 1st against the run. Big Ben is having one of his best seasons in a while, and a rookie is leading them in receiving, Chase Claypool. And I think that's they found their number one. I think Claypool can be a number one, and I always thought Juju fit into that number 2 receiver the best. We've seen it last year when he was forced to be the number one. He had a really down season.
He was getting double teamed a lot.
He was hurt. That's what happens when you're a number one.
They didn't really have a very formidable number 2.
I mean, it's easy to say Claypool could be the number 1 when now you have 2-3 guys running out there, so you can't double team.
So much better, and Juju.
Yeah, but I just when I see Juju, I don't see a number 1.
Oh, that's understandable.
Claypool, his physical tools, how fast he can run, how tall he is,
I think they're the same
how
age,
strong
too.
he is. I think he can be a true number 1. But the Steelers, they're not the best team. Like I said, they're the most successful. And I also feel like their competition this year has been really, really bad. I mean, the toughest team they faced were the Titans. And the toughest teams they're going to face going forward are the Ravens twice and the Bills, and that's it. So that means you had 4 tough opponents all year. Because I don't count the Browns as a tough opponent, especially to the Steelers, I don't.
It's a rivalry game, though.
I don't call them a tough opponent.
I count them as a tough opponent.
The Bengals, I don't count as a tough opponent. But let me just go here because I only wrote down the tough opponents that they have. But just look at the schedule that they've had so far.
I think we talked about how bad their schedule is.
That's been the biggest knock on them.
Got to win
So
them, though.
they beat the Giants, not a tough opponent. The Broncos, the Texans, the Eagles, the Browns, the Titans.
What the hell was that supposed to mean?
The Ravens. Now, next up, they got the Cowboys, the Bengals, the Jaguars, the Ravens, Washington, Bills, Bengals, Colts, and Browns.
Well, their schedule the whole season is pretty easy, except for the Ravens twice and the Titans.
I'm not sold on the Colts. I'm not sold on the Browns being a team that can compete with the Steelers because I think the Steelers are an elite team. I think the Colts and Browns are good teams, but when we're talking about good versus elite, I just don't count that as very good competition.
I'll say this, though. They have looked elite regardless of competition. Like you said, I believe they're first against the run, or first against the pass, third against the run.
First against the run, third against the pass.
Which is insane, no matter who you're playing. And you contrast that with a team like, we've talked about a bunch, the Buffalo Bills, who haven't played a great schedule, but 2 times they've played the Jets, who are far and away the worst team in football right now, and they haven't impressed me. The Steelers, regardless of their competition, have come out, and I was anti-Steelers at the start of the season. I'll be the first to admit it. They have been super impressive, and I think the most impressive thing has been Ben Roethlisberger coming off Tommy John surgery. I was incredibly nervous. I don't want to say nervous, but I wasn't sure what to expect from him coming off of a majorly impactful elbow surgery.
Mm-hmm.
He's come out and been having one of the best seasons of his career so far. So,
if we're being honest, the Ravens were supposed to run away with this division. That's what everybody predicted. We thought the Ravens were going to be undefeated. I guess not you, but a lot of people had the Ravens as favorites, not only in their division but in the AFC in general.
Granted, their only loss so far has come to the Chiefs. So,
we'll see. That's why this game is going to tell me a lot. The Steelers versus the Ravens. Yeah. It really depends on how the Steelers do against them. Maybe they move up a spot. Maybe they move up a spot and they get to that first spot.
I do think it's interesting, though, how, and I'm guilty of it myself, and I think a lot of it has to do with the playoffs last year, but we look at the Chiefs, who were so great last year, ended up winning the Super Bowl. They have looked human to start the year, but everybody still feels the same way about them, myself included. But the Ravens, who had a great season last year, granted, they don't perform in the playoffs. They're 5-1 right now. The only team they've lost to is the Chiefs. But I feel like a lot of people are forgetting about them as a real competitor, one of the better teams, one of the possibly top 5 to 10 teams in the league, and almost no one's talking about them.
Well, they didn't play anybody either, really. They played Texans. They played the Washington Redskins, football team. They played the Bengals, and then they beat us.
And that's the curse of their division.
And the Steelers and Ravens both blew out the Browns.
Outside of their division this year, the AFC North.
Yeah, when you're facing the NFC East, it's going to be a cakewalk, for being honest.
But you think it'd be a cakewalk for the Jets, since you love to throw that little funny thing in there?
We wouldn't be with 0 wins right now. That's for sure.
You definitely would.
I don't know about that. I will say, though, I am sold on the Steelers. I think they're a top 5, if not top 3 team in football right now. But I still can't say they're the best team in football, and that's no knock on them, because I can't have anybody, dethrone the Chiefs unless the Chiefs start to crumple. And I don't think the Chiefs have done that yet, even with a loss.